Hello, it's the first Saturday of September. Autumn has arrived and that means people are returning to their hobby desks. That's an exciting time. Welcome to Table Talk. Hello everyone, a big welcome to today's Table Talk. My name is Jason and this is Model Kit Stuff. If you're one of my new subscribers, a massive warm welcome to you. It's really nice to see you and nice to have you on the channel. And if you're one of my longer term subscribers, a big welcome back. Always nice to see you around, see your comments and all the support I get for the channel. We've got lots to cover today. Do I say that every week? I'm not sure. Okay, so if you are new, what we do on this video each week is we talk about what's been going on, what's coming up. We talk about what's of interest to me, I suppose, within modelling news. That's a relatively new feature, but I've got some exciting stuff to talk about. And we give some people a shout out and various other stuff. You'll work it all out as we go. Right then, let's start with what we got up to last week. So Monday we focused very much on air caps. Actually, I'd intended the video to be sort of how to upgrade your airbrush and the fact that quite often airbrushes of all sorts of brands will have little accessories that you can buy into or little upgrades or little changes, some more than others, but Gaahleri certainly do. And so I ended up focusing on the air cap, and I think the air cap is probably the most misunderstood part of an airbrush. Everyone gets, you know, how it works, but most people, when they're buying an airbrush, they're thinking about reliability, quality and aesthetics, believe it or not. And so you end up buying something like, excuse me while I grab this, something like this. This is the Infinity CR Plus for Hader and Steenback. It's an exceptionally good airbrush and it looks really cool, but actually its functionality is a bit limited compared to some airbrushes, but I have upgraded this. I put a little Mac on it, so I've got an airflow regulator inline that I put on and what have you, but yeah, that's what people, I mean, this is a typical example. Hader and Steenback got a really good quality reputation for fine instruments, and they do something that aesthetically looks good and is reliable, although the spare parts a little bit expensive. But the point I was trying to get across in the video, as much as anything, is people don't think about the performance of the airbrush with the air cap and what that means for their modelling. And I tried to convey that. I'm not always the best at explaining things, but I got some responses that said, you know what, I've not really considered the air cap and what it does, so that was quite interesting. But yeah, it's really important, and I think you should have several air caps in your repertoire, and I do, partly through having a large number of airbrushes which have caps that are interchangeable, but I have also bought one or two that I needed that weren't covered, although I still yet to get a crown one. Okay, we'll talk more about airbrushes later on. So that was Monday's video. If you didn't see it, go and see it. If you don't really understand what the difference is between this air cap on here and this air cap on here, all will be revealed in that video. Right, Wednesday. lovely little kit. The Matchbox armoured car, the Humber. You know what, the old kits don't speak to everybody, but for some people there's a nice bit of nostalgia there, and that's why I buy them, because I built them as kids, as a kid, and you know, they were painted with a brush, and if I painted them, sometimes I didn't, you know. I just love building them, and it's nice sometimes to go back and go, well, that kit that I enjoyed on my shelf for many years after I built it, what would it look like if I built it now, knowing everything that I've learned over the time from then to now. So that I find that a lot of fun. I know it's not of interest to everybody, but yeah, a nice little kit, and I enjoyed that one more than many of the Matchbox ones that I built. I think my favourite we've already built, which was the Wasp in the desert, and then interestingly the SES long range desert group diorama they had. I quite liked that one as well, with the Jeep with the oil filter on. I think I then built the 135 Tamiya version, and I know I built the Tamiya Chevy, and as it happens, I happen to have some of them in my stash. In fact, it's a Shelf Queen, and next year my focus, my theme is Shelf Queens, and we're gonna get some of them down, and just explore them and talk about them, and then we're gonna get others down and we're gonna finish them off. That's the plan for next year. Right then, we're getting ahead of ourselves, aren't we? So of course, the video that you watched on last night was the last in the lifeboat videos, and it was really nice to build the kit with one foot in the sort of how I want to build it. So we didn't do full Monty changes. We could have done more with it. I'll be honest, I completely forgot to put windscreen wipers on, which I intended to do right from the off, and then just forgot, didn't do it. But yeah, it was nice to have a play with that build. And as I said, it's not really a starter kit. It is a starter kit, but in many ways it's not. So it would certainly, if it was a gift set, people would complain it was a bit basic. As a starter set, it's at the tough end. So yeah, it's not a skill level 2, but those decals might take it a bit beyond a skill level 1. So it's a difficult one. So I think it is a starter kit. Fundamentally, you could build it without the decals. Youngsters, yeah, whatever. But the decals were very tricky. I got them wrong. I didn't work them out properly. The positioning isn't good, and it just, yeah. Anyway, it looked all right, and I think reworking the guardrails makes a real difference to how that looks. So I was really having a play and seeing what I could do with it. But there is a lot more you could do with that kit, and it is a nice kit. It's not perfect, it's got some issues, but it is a nice kit and it scrubs up well. And I was very pleased with my decision to put it on a yellow trellis, turn the base yellow. In fact, I was told by one of the subscribers who lives very close to the head office that they'd recently had a Shannon class up there, and it was on a trellis just like that. And yeah, I mean, the reason that Airfix didn't do yellow is because they're limiting themselves to the paints that come in the kit as a starter set. So they went with the blue. You know, it's better than any of the other colours that are in there for it. So it sort of makes sense, but it looks so much better in the yellow. I think you'll agree. Right, okay, so let's move on, shall we? On the bench this week, I thought we'd give you a little preview of where we're up to with the Scharnhorst. You're not far behind me at the moment, to be honest. All the deck fittings are done and in place. With the with the exception of 2 fair leads, the white ones that go right on the stern there. I don't know if that might be out of shot, maybe. So I've got those to put on. Everything else is done in terms of deck fittings, and we've actually started to progress to this. Now, I've previously made a comment that the superstructure of Scharnhorst ain't too bad. There's a bit of an issue at this point here where they have a walk-through area, which isn't how it is on Scharnhorst, and you're going to have to put some doors on. But as I got close to this and we started looking at the anatomy of the ship and what have you, there's more wrong with this than originally meets the eye. So structural shape and stuff, yeah, okay. But a lot of mistakes. I guess, again, this is because these are Gneisenau parts, not Scharnhorst parts. So I'll give you an example. If you look at the front there, you can see I've drilled out 2 portholes, and beneath it are the kit place portholes. The ones I've drilled are correct. The ones the kit put in, not correct. We had some missing from this side, which I've put on, which are the higher ones there. And then on the back of these little points here, there should be doors, which I've now put on in photo etch because they didn't bother. But we also had ventilators on where there shouldn't be any ventilators or anything else for that matter, just, you know, a bit random. We had portholes completely missing off sections in there, and on this side we had ventilators added, which simply weren't there, and then we've got a lot of pipe work missing. So we're going to be putting as much on as is practicable to do. That's not an easy word to say when you're filming. So yeah, I'm happy with the progress. She's looking gorgeous. Really coming together nicely. So far, I don't think I've made any mistakes. So all good. Usually I've probably dropped 1 ball by now. Touch wood, we're okay with that. So yeah, this is getting to the more interesting part of the build, I suspect, for many, where we see the superstructure coming together, the guns and bits and pieces, and Scharnhorst is remaining probably the build, well, definitely the build with the most interest. Yeah, so I thought I'd give you a preview of that. Now, at the moment I'm recording my Table Talk videos Wednesday to Wednesday. It's just to do with my workload in the week. So this is Wednesday lunchtime. So last time we talked, I hadn't quite finished off working on the Scharnhorst in the week, which is why I thought I'd show you that. But actually at the weekend and during the course of the remainder of this week, I've not had my hobby night yet. That'll probably be tomorrow night. We have progressed the tempo. So we've finished the weathering in the cab. I'll show you, don't know how well that comes up, but we've finished the weathering. So the picture that I'd put up on Facebook wasn't finished. We've done some masking. We've done more on painting the figures. See if I can reach one out for you. So we've got the base coat down on the uniforms. So they're looking really quite nice. Happy with them. ICM paints, and yeah, they're going to plan. The painting's going to plan, but that's just the base colour you saw there. I've got a lot of work there to put layers on, and I'll show you how to do all of that. By the end of this week, we should have the back end of this mounted in place. Goes on there like that. That gives you an idea of the full length of the vehicle. Back doors there, the sides on, so we should have the back end built up. I've got a lot of parts painted ready to go on, and we're just at the assembly point. What I'm struggling with is the colour underneath, because I'm going to guess that it wasn't the body colour. Because it's not going to be seen, so why paint it? It might have been treated with something to try and prevent rot. I'm guessing it was at the very least painted. I can't find any reference material on what colour it was underneath a tempo. So if anyone actually really knows, for a matter of fact, please let me know in the comments, but I can't find any references. So I've decided I'm probably gonna go with black. Yeah, so I know for an absolute fact that the framework underneath is black, but there isn't anything in the instructions to say what colour to do it. I know a lot of the internal parts are covered in a grey paint, so I could go with a grey paint. I have done that underneath for now, and that gives me a little bit more weathering, but again, it's not going to be seen particularly, so don't know, undecided whether I'm going grey or black, but I'm sort of edging towards black somehow. Anyway, that's where we're up to with the tempo build. So it's at that point where we're getting parts, sub-assemblies painted up, and then suddenly it'll all come together. So I'm hoping that tomorrow night I'll be able to build a lot of that together. What I'm driving the build towards with the tempo is getting it in a position where we can paint the outside colours ahead of weathering, and with the figures getting the uniform painted in, and then we can start doing the flesh and what have you. The helmets are a different colour to the uniform, so we'll do those before we do the flesh. We're going to be painting in flesh colours last, so that will be interesting. So that's sort of what happened on the bench. This weekend coming up is another Scharnhorst weekend, and also we'll be doing a little bit more on the Endeavour, which I showed you last week, and then also I've got a number of kits from a stash that I'm planning to sell. So we've gone through the stash, we've tidied the stash up, we've added to the stash, and then I now have some kits that I'm going to get rid of. Now, 3 of them I'm going to pick out as part of the 4 years of the channel giveaway. Not done a giveaway before, so that'll be interesting. And then the rest of them this weekend are getting boxed up and photographed so that they can either be sold on the channel, or if not, sold on eBay. And rather than having a big pile of cardboard and a big pile of kits in my attic, I'll just have a big pile of packaged up kits ready to go, and save me some space ahead of having to do a bit of a general tidy up in there. We've got stuff from when my granddaughter was a baby that we want to get rid of because we know that they're not going down that route again. So we've got some bits and pieces, and they're hoping to move into a bigger house soon, so there's things we're storing for them that they can then have because they don't have an attic in their flat. Okay, so that's what happened on the workbench. Right then, this week's stash ads. I have several things to go through this week. The intention was to do one a week, but I've had a busy week of things being delivered. I'm going to say no more than that, and the implications of that. But yeah, so let's start with this. This came from, I think they're called AV or AFV or something like that, I forget. But it's 116 Afrika Korps Tank Crew. So that, as you will now know from last week, is for my Panzer 1 in 116 scale from Takom. It's designed to fit on that kit, and what you get is 2 members of tank crew, one sat on the top of the turret and one sticking out the side, basically. The one guy on the top of the turret has full legs, and this guy doesn't. Really nice 3D printed resin, really nice little package, not expensive. I was really surprised at the cost of those. And that completes that Takom tank for me, so really exciting that I've got that. It means when I build it, it's gonna look a little bit different than having all the hatches shut because there's nothing inside. So I can now add a little bit of animation, which those of you that have been subscribed for a while, you know that's something that I always like to squeeze into my model if I can. Not really a stash ad, but something that I got this week, so you know, it's the spot to talk about it. I've got a new airbrush that we are going to review. So this is the Gaahleri Mobius 2, and like the Mobius 3 that we've already reviewed on the channel, this is an airbrush that's been specifically designed around a single needle to allow you to do a specific range of airbrushing tasks, which is basically detail work. And the main differences with this to the Mobius 3 are the air cap shape, and the fact that we've got a little air regulator on the front there, so that we can do some fine line thickness control. I've already filmed this. Really nice brush to work with, and it's really nice aesthetically. It's got a sort of 50s sci-fi inspired knob on the back. And talking of sci-fi inspired, Gaahleri will tell you the inspiration behind their airbrush stand, which is this bad boy here, which we'll also review. I'm not going to do it on a Monday slot because it's just a sort of a little extra. We'll pop it in on a Tuesday or a Thursday when I don't normally have a video going out. But this was inspired by sci-fi. I think what they mean is it's sort of modern looking. It's got quite a heavy base, and how it works is it takes the male connector from a quick fitting, and you can pop it in there, and you've got, you know, it turns your airbrush into a display piece. But it's actually quite handy, and we'll talk about that in the video. I mean, there is a drawback. You can't have the airline connected while you're storing it, but you know, it's a lovely brush. It's got some really nice features in it, and we go through all of that. So as always, if you're interested in the Gaahleri products, I wouldn't promote them if I didn't believe in them. As always with the Gaahleri products, they are good quality products, and if you're interested in them and you want to go and have a look, I'll put the link down below to the website. Please use the link to make sure you get in the most recent offers, and also it gives Gaahleri a count of how many people came from my channel to them, which is useful for them but also useful for me, because when they see that footfall, that encourages them to share more stuff with me that I can then share with you. So it's for your benefit as much as anything else. But also I'll put the 10% discount code in, which you apply at the checkout there, and even if stuff is on offer, you can take a further 10% off, and very nice it is too. So we will be reviewing that soon. I'm not sure the dates, but I have put it in my plan and moved things around, ready for it. Not sure what that was, but yeah, there we go. Really, really nice tool. Now, while we're talking about airbrushes, this isn't really a stash ad thing, but I am considering working with Gaahleri to create a model kit stuff airbrush. I know in my mind what I want that to look like. It's a bit different to what you've seen from any other airbrush company, to be honest. So I am considering the development of a specific airbrush for modelers, because airbrushes are tools used by so many people: bakers, artists, nail artists, all sorts of people. So they can be a little bit sort of generic. So what I want to do is develop with Gaahleri an airbrush that is specifically covering the basic needs of a modeler. and I've got my view on what that would be. And I've spoken to Gaahleri about it, and they're open to delivering that. But what I'm interested to know is, would people be interested in that? One airbrush that covers most of your needs, comfortable to use, quality product. I'm going to put my name on it ultimately, so I'd have to believe in the product. So would you buy one? I'm interested to know whether there's a market for that, or whether people are just happy to go with the flow and get what's out there. What I'm thinking about would change some of the aspects that you get with an airbrush that I've never seen offered by anybody, any company. So yeah, I've got my thoughts. It's only viable if people are interested in buying into it. So if you think you'd be interested in an airbrush that's been designed specifically with the modeler in mind, let me know in the comments, and we can, if it looks like there's interest, then I can start getting some costings, development costings and bits and pieces from Gaahleri, and we can see whether it's viable or not from a production point of view. Okay, let's get back to stash ads, because I do have a tendency to go off on a tangent, as everyone knows. Right, this is one of my birthday stash ads. We're doing 2 stash ads this week, by the way. This came to me from, well, it was chosen off the list that I'd given to the family, and this was the one that my kids chose, and they chose it because it's a 100th release of an aircraft kit from Tamiya, and it looked a little bit special to them, so they quite liked the idea of me having that. I was really pleased they chose that, because it's a lovely lovely kit that's been on my wants list for some time. And the kit is, I think, 2007, so it's getting a little long in the tooth. I've already recorded the first impressions of this, so it's ready to go. But yeah, what's interesting about this kit is the extra stuff you get in there. There's actually a little diorama in this box if you want to go down that route. And yeah, Tamiya at its finest in here, I think. But yeah, so I would normally say watch out for the first impressions coming soon, but I don't know when it's going to come out, and that's largely going to be down to you. We'll talk about that a little bit more when we get to our news section. Right, let's have a look at what is the other stash ad. This is very interesting for me, because this is a wooden model ship kit, and we don't do a lot on wooden model kits, because they're quite costly in comparison to plastic kits, so I don't buy them as frequently. But we're going to be doing a little bit over the next few weeks, which I think will be interesting to people. Now, in here, I have a kit that might be a game changer. And what I mean by that is, for a few years now, when people ask me what would be a good first model kit to build, I tend to recommend this. It's the Caldercraft schooner Pickle. Probably the most famous ship that no one's ever really aware of. And the reason why it's so famous is because this is the ship that brought the message from the United Kingdom of the result of the Battle of Trafalgar, and ultimately the loss of Lord Nelson. So very famous. There was a bit of a competition, you know, everyone wanted to get that message there first. Well, Pickle was designed in a way that she was very, very nimble and a swift ship, and that's why ultimately she was given the task of getting the message there, but 1 or 2 other people wanted to try and beat her to it, which didn't happen. So yeah, and the reason why I always say this is the best starter kit is, firstly, I've built it, so I know that it's beginner friendly. Secondly, it has a bit of everything on, so you can dip your toe in stuff without getting too far into it. So there's rat lines, there's shrouds, there's copper plating, there's hull planking, there's doing a ship's boat, and all of that sort of stuff is in there, tapering masts and doing rigging. But there's not much of any of it, and the instructions for it are phenomenal. They take you through the planking one plank at a time. They're absolutely phenomenal. And if you do a bit every evening, you could complete that in 6 to 9 months. But I think we might have a game changer in this box. Shall we have a look? So here she is, His Britannic Majesty's cutter Sherborne, a launch date of 1763. And she was basically used in the English Channel to intercept smuggling. That's what she did for her life, and I think she was quite effective at it. But the reason why I think this is potentially a replacement for Pickle, in my view, as an ideal starter's kit, is this has been developed with the novice in mind. And so it has some features that you perhaps wouldn't see in some other. Firstly, it's prefabricated part heavy. So you've got a lot of parts that are already done. You've just got to maybe form them or something like that, rather than building it up out of wooden stock. The only hull planking you have to do on this is from the whale down, which arguably is always the toughest part of planking, that lower bit where you've got the curves and where you're meeting the keel and so on. But believe you me, the instructions in here are way beyond anything I've seen in a wooden ship kit before. And the price point is really, really keen. What Chris is doing is he's taking a reduced margin to keep this kit at an entry-level price. So he's hoping, I guess, he's not told me this particularly, but my assumption is that you keep the price low and therefore sell a little bit more volume, and that's how you balance the effort. But there's little things in here like he's using slightly thinner material for the second planking, for example, than you'd normally get, which means it's more flexible, it's easier to work with, so easier for the novice. And you know, he really does think through them. He designs the kits himself, he pre-builds the kits himself, and for me, he's making some of the finest wooden model kits available right now anywhere. So yeah, a very, very nice looking kit. So we're going to do a first impressions of it. I want to build this as a complete beginner's guide to wooden model ships. There's a number of people that I know have said to me, I'd love to do a wooden model ship, but it just looks too daunting. And you know what? I understand that, but actually when you break it down and get going, it's not that bad. It really, really isn't. It's different to plastic modelling. In many ways, less complicated than plastic modelling. And although most of them are done in a museum style, there's nothing actually stopping you from weathering a wooden model ship either. You can use your Humbrol paints on them, your Humbrol enamels on them and things like that. So there is similarities. You can get your airbrush out to do the lower hull, and then you've got lots of varnishing to do. It's a bit more relaxing as well. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to doing a deep dive into this kit. It does have photo etch. The quality of the materials are very, very high. So I'm looking forward to doing a review of that. Now, I'll do that soon, but I'm not sure when, and that's all tied in with what's going to be going on in the next few weeks, which we'll talk about in a moment. So yeah, that's that. I purchased this week because I want to do the complete beginner's guide, like I did with airbrushing, on wooden model ships, and we're going to do it on plastic kits as well. And unlike with plastic kits, where I want to show it as sort of different techniques, so the complete beginner's guide to sanding, to adhesives and gluing, and all of that sort of stuff. I want to do it that way with the wooden model ship. Let's build one and take you through it. And what I'm going to do is follow the instructions and test how good are the instructions, how good are the kit. Put it through the ringer and see what we end up with at the end of it. That's what I want to do. When I do that, that's going to be up to you guys, and we'll talk about that probably in another episode. When we're coming to the end of the endeavour, we'll have a chat about that, and it'll be your decision, not mine. But yeah, a very simple kit, single mast, just like the Caldercraft Pickle. You dip your toe in a bit of everything. It hasn't got copper plates, it's got a white painted hull, but that makes it just that little bit more easy actually. Right then, there you go, that is my stash ads this week. So in kit news, we're going to start by staying with Vanguard models. So Vanguard models right now have two interesting things coming along, and there's a third one a little bit further down the pipeline. So in the very near future, they're launching 3D printed ship's boats. Now there isn't a ship's boat on here, but in a lot of kits, ship's boats are like mini kits in themselves, and they tend to be plank on bulkhead, and you have a jig and you do the planking, and then you put all the thwarts and bits and knees and bits and pieces in. From wood, and you build it all up, and some people find it a bit fiddly and a bit of a pain. So what Vanguard modelers are doing is they're bringing out some alternatives that are 3D printed. Now as soon as they're available, I'm going to get a set for review, so I'll be sharing those with you. They're aimed at the Sphinx kit and the Indefatigable kit. Initially, whether that'll get expanded out, I don't know. But you might find that they're a standard size and could be usable on other models. Don't know. So it'll be really interesting to see what comes out of that. But that's yet another innovation from Vanguard models that I really like, because they can be quite fiddly doing the small boats. So it does make sense. Right now, though, they're working on Harpy, which is an 18-gun brig. Right now is producing the laser cut materials. That's in production, and the expected release date of the Harpy is November. I have some pictures, pre-production pictures, and a couple of pictures that are going to be used in the final build manual. So here you go. Now, once that's released, Chris is working on another kit. Now, I don't know what it is. That's all confidential at this stage, quite obviously. What I do know is the next project that comes out of Vanguard models is going to be larger, and it's going to be decoration heavy. So that's really interesting to me. There is something very appealing about ships with very decorative stern galleries, and quite often that goes down the ship. If you think about HMS Victory, when she was originally launched, she had an open stern gallery with lots of decoration, which was sort of how they showed off the power and might of a country by the decoration on a ship. And then that got dumbed down very much so in the Edwardian period, and so by the time Nelson's sailing into Trafalgar. Victory is a fair bit more bland than she was when she was launched. So it'd be really interesting to see what ship that is. As I get more information, I will of course share it with you. Now, in other news, rather than focusing on kit releases, we'll come back to that next week. I thought we'd talk about model kit stuff news, because things are about to start happening in model kit stuff world, and I need you to be involved. I'm roughly 170 subscribers away from hitting my landmark 10,000 subscribers. It's a huge landmark for me. We've done it in a 4-year period, and it means I must be doing something right for you guys. And I think it reflects how much I enjoy doing this, and a lot of people say that they like my style, even if they don't like all the content. And I've got a wide breadth of content, so it's never going to speak to everybody all the time. But 10,000 subscribers is a big milestone, and I'm very proud that we've managed to get there, because it's way beyond what I dreamt would happen when I started this at the start of the pandemic. So what we're going to do, I have mentioned this before, but for those of you that might not have seen that video, is we're going to hand the channel over to the subscribers. So we're going to call it the subscriber takeover or something like that. I haven't really finally decided. And what it means is that you're going to run what happens on the channel for 2 weeks. So yeah, that's going to be the basic element of it. So I need to start getting ready for that. So you're going to be deciding what the first impressions is. And you're going to be deciding what builds are shared in those weeks. Now, I think that we should get to around about 10,000 subscribers in about 4 weeks' time. So maybe this time next month, beginning of October, you'll be able to be in a position to run the channel for me. So we've got a number of events lined up around this. So for the 10,000 subscribers, you'll take over, and then we have the 4-year anniversary in November, and we're going to do some other stuff there. So for the 10,000 subscribers, I need to prepare, and to do that, I'm going to be launching a few questionnaires so that I can get from you what you want to see. So I'll be giving you some options. So first impressions, I'll give you some options for week 1, and then we'll run a second one, give you some options for week 2. What do you want to see me do a first impressions of on that channel? So it'll be stuff I've got, and stuff you might want to see. Now then, it will not include wooden ship kits in those first impressions. Now, before you all start going, oh, well, why not? You're excluding us. No, I have an additional first impressions for 10,000 subscribers. It's a thing of absolute beauty. It's a work as a kit. It's a work of art. It's very special, and I'm going to share it with you during that subscriber takeover. Anyone that subscribed to my channel and likes building wooden ships is going to absolutely love this first impressions. It's going to be absolutely awesome, and I'm saving it for that special event. So that'll be an additional one that we'll probably put out on a Sunday when you've got time to watch it, because it's not a small kit, and we will deep dive through the instructions, through the materials, through the plans, and immerse ourselves in a very beautiful kit. So my wooden modelling friends, you've got something very special coming when we do the takeover. Now, in terms of builds, we're gonna have 2 builds running at the time when the takeover comes down. We're gonna have Scharnhorst, and we're gonna have the Tempo running. But I'm going to put a third in a mix. I'm going to be putting in the 172 Beginners Bolt and Pull Defiant building that we talked about last week. So there will be 3 builds that you can select from week 1 and week 2. So you could do back-to-back Scharnhorst, or you could do back-to-back Tempo, or you could do Tempo and Scharnhorst, which is what normally happens. Choice is going to be yours. Now we're also going to do a live stream. Again, it will probably be on a day when I'm free in the evening. And the idea of the live stream is to invite all 10,000 of you to come to the live stream. Well, that won't happen, but I'll invite all 10,000 of you. And that live stream will talk about what you want to talk about. But we're also in there, we're going to launch the next group build. And you guys, you're going to pick it. I'm going to tell you what I'd like to do. And then you guys in the chat, you're going to agree. And during that conversation, we'll sort of come to an agreement as to what that's going to be. So I've got some ideas. I'll float those ideas, see what people think, let you pick one. So when I say ideas, I've got some themes that I think we could run with, which would speak to everyone. It's really important to me that the next group build doesn't exclude anyone. So we've done commercial vehicles, not everyone wants to build that. We've done B17, not everyone's interested in that. I think we can do a group build that maybe lasts 9 or 12 months and allows everybody that follows this channel to be involved if they wish to be. And it will be absolutely awesome. Can you imagine how big the showcase will be at the end of that? If all 10,000 of you built and shared a model within a theme. So that the themes have to be a bit creative to be able to get everyone in there. But, you know, I've said you can build that in 9 months if you do a little bit every night, I reckon. Maybe even shorter. So you could even do a wooden ship in that group build. Depends on the topic you choose, of course. So we're going to do a live stream and we're going to talk about the group build, what we want that to look like. So you guys are going to be not just taking over for the next couple of weeks, you'll be taking over for the next 9 months, 12 months, while we decide exactly what that looks like. So I really want you guys to get involved and participate in the channel. And then during that group build, we will do live streams where people can talk about where they're up to. So rather than inviting you to send me photographs and stuff, we can talk about where we're up to, what we're working on, and it'll be a really eclectic mix, I'm sure. So that's sort of the plan for 10,000 subscribers, and it'll give you lots and lots of involvement in the channel, which I want to do. After the 2 weeks, I'm back in control, and we'll bring some order to things. But until then, you'll be able to get involved and dictate what happens. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with the Monday slot. I've got some things recorded, but I don't have a lot. So I'm going to have to make a decision on whether I'm giving you control of Monday or not. But it could be that we say, right, Monday we'll do a live stream as an option, and you've got an option of tool review or a live stream, and we'll see. So over the next week, I'm going to be running up the options, and then next week in Table Talk, we will talk about what those options are, then launch them however I'm going to do that, so that everyone can get involved. And I'll do a separate video so those subscribers that don't watch Table Talk can get involved too. That's Model Kit Stuff news for this week. Right then, so what's coming up in the week ahead? Monday we have the next part. I think it's 18 off the top of my head. The next instalment of the build of Amati's Endeavour. So that in its new every other week Monday slot. I can't remember what we're doing in that one, but I know we're on still on deck fittings at that point. I think it might be cleats and capstans and that sort of stuff. I can't remember. But that's Monday anyway. Wednesday, we've got Tacom's HMS Hood Gun in 172 scale. Oh. I'm gonna let you watch it. I'm not gonna say anything more, but you can tell I'm a bit disappointed. Not just a bit, really. Yeah, you need to watch that. Even if you're not interested in the kit, you need to watch it. You just do. And then on Friday, we'll be back with the Scharnhorst. So after a break to complete the lifeboat build, we're back on Scharnhorst, and you're not that far behind me. I need to gallop ahead on the Scharnhorst. So I didn't get as far ahead as I planned to on my holidays for various reasons, unfortunately, timings and what have you. So yeah, Scharnhorst will be back, and I know that many of you will be looking forward to that. Right then, other stuff. Let's talk about my holidays. So I'm back at work this week. A bit of a shock to the system after 2 weeks off. You sit there and go, oh, what's my password again? But after a day and a half, it's like you were never away and you don't have the holidays. The kids have slowly gone back to school this week. My daughter goes back to college next week. Paula went back to work. She works in a private school. She went back to work on Monday. My youngest, Alice, she went back Thursday. But I dropped her off at her mum's Wednesday morning, so we're back in that routine. Of course, the traffic starts to get heavy. The mornings start getting darker and damper. The traffic slows down. I have to travel through a section of the motorway that is in year 3 of being reduced to 50 miles an hour while they turn it into one of those really unsafe smart motorways. It's partly been extended because they've decided to put more emergency stop areas in. But you still can only drive a car that's liable to break down near a stop area. It's still dangerous if you ask me. So yeah, we will see, but it looks like that's going to open soon. They've taken the speed cameras down, which means they're about to open it up, which would be ahead of schedule. They put a sign up saying it'd be spring 25, which would have made it 4 years. And I think they perhaps did that deliberately so they can say, yeah, we delivered it early, ignoring the fact that it was supposed to be delivered 2 years ago. So all of that's happening and we're sort of getting back to routine. And as I've said, that means more people are coming back to the modelling bench. And I haven't had the usual drop in subscribers that I get through the summer. It slowed down a little bit, but it usually sort of falls off a cliff and by nearly halves in the number of new subscribers because there's so few people actually involved in doing modelling. So they're not even watching YouTube channels on it or anything like that because they're busy with other stuff, holidays, kids, garden, DIY, whatever. So, and a lot of people don't model in the summer, surprisingly. So, they right, doesn't work for my paints, doesn't work for my glues, I'm going to do something else. And, I get that, sports going on and so on and so forth. So people come back, but I didn't have that drop. It did slow, but nowhere near the numbers that it usually slows by. So that's really positive for what we've been doing through the summer. So now we're going to hopefully see a bit of a pickup of people coming back, which means a pickup of more subscribers, which is great for the revenue because, as you know, we're self-funded. So everything that happens here is funded by the revenue the channel makes for itself in its various forms. So looking forward to that. The early stages of the winter very busy. We've got the 10,000 takeover. We've got the 4-year anniversary. We're doing some bits and pieces around that, and then we've got Telford, which I'm at for 2 days this year. Got a hotel nearby, and I'm all organised. And I think tickets go on sale for Telford this month, so we'll be buying that. But holidays are finished, and I thought I'd share with you some of my holiday snaps and some of the things we did. We did some fun stuff. I have never done an escape room before, but we did an escape room. We decided that we'd try and get out of Alcatraz, which, you know, it's not famed for being particularly prisoner leaky, Alcatraz. And yeah, it was a lot of fun. We didn't do it, but we were only one. You have a series of puzzles you've got to complete to be able to work it out. We were one away, and to be honest, I don't think we'd have ever worked it out, because it was, you had to shine a torch in a little hole and that would trigger a little thing, and I'm not sure we would have worked that out because there wasn't any clues to get you to that point. Anyway, yeah, a lot of fun though. So you got an hour to get out of a room you're locked in, effectively. And everyone said, it was dead funny, everyone said, well, they'll probably take our phones off us so we can't Google answers. So I'm not quite sure what sort of puzzles they thought we were going to be doing. So they all left their phones in the car under lock and key because they didn't want to put them in a locker. So I was the only one with a phone. Now, I had my tickets on the phone, so I had to take it in. But I sort of didn't really agree with them. I thought, you know what, I think a phone might be quite handy. You know, my partner said, oh, but you might feel like you want to cheat. I said, I've got to take it in. I've got the tickets on. Anyway, it was so handy. We had to work out some maths and remember numbers, and I can't remember numbers very well, so we could put it on the calculator on the phone and remember the numbers. I could use the torch for looking for stuff, and everyone else was thinking, oh, I wish I'd got my phone with me. It was dead funny. So we did that, and we've done some other stuff. We went for some walks, visited some places, just had a big chill out. So yeah, here's some photographs of my 2 weeks holiday with my family, and creating some memories at the end of the school year, school holidays. So they go back to school and college and what have you, and it's fresh in the mind. So when people say, oh, what did you do? Oh yeah, we did an escape room and so on. So yeah, we had a lot of fun, and we're just back to normal routine now. Here's the pictures. Right then, special people and shout outs. So let's start with special people. The channel is self-funded, so anyone that contributes to the channel, gives a donation, gets a shout out on this spot in the Table Talk every week. So the best way to support the channel is to donate some money into my PayPal. I get 100% of it. If you prefer to do it by super thanks, you can do that underneath the video. Or any video. So if you watched a video and you really enjoyed it, or you learned something, or you found it really useful, and you want to say thank you, you can hit super thanks. I get about 60% of what you donate, and YouTube takes the rest. And whichever else way you do it, there is a cut. So I don't do Patreon or buy me a coffee or any of that stuff, because they're all taking a cut, and that's not really what you intend to do with your money. You want it to come to the channel. So it doesn't come to me personally, it comes to the channel. Almost everything you see here on the channel is paid for by the channel. Sometimes there is something special, and the channel just can't afford it, so it comes out of my money. And I have just recently purchased the most expensive kit I've ever bought, and that is for another video, and I paid for that. for example. But everything else we do, by supporting the channel, you keep the cameras rolling, you give me content to record. It means we've got stuff for first impressions, stuff for tool reviews, and also we've got stuff that we can work through and look at with you guys in mind. So the complete beginners guides and all of that sort of stuff, you know, it can be done because of how you support the channel. You can support the channel in many ways, and one of the ways, if you've not got funds to support the channel, you can support the channel by hitting the like button. It's one of the most important things you can do, and it's completely free. You know, hit that like button. Only around about 20% of people that watch a video hit the like button, and then over, you know, in the first day or so, and then after that it gets less and less. So it's down to about 1 or 2% of people watching the videos actually hit the like button, and yeah, it makes such a big difference to the algorithm and my channel and the revenue my channel makes. So I do encourage you to hit that like button and support the channel, because my videos are free. They're always going to be free. I'm never going to do membership where you get to see some videos that others don't. I'm not going to do that. They're free, but you can help me to bring more stuff to you. So a big thank you to Dom. Dom supports the channel in so many ways. Recently we've talked about the kits he lent me to build up my bank of first impressions videos, and he's also donated this week. So thank you very much, Dom. You know, it's hugely appreciated. I got your email about meeting up in the future, as I've suggested, and yeah, we will do that at some point. I start going back to the office from next week, so I'll probably reach out to you soon about when I'm next around and timings and stuff. And yeah, it all depends on how busy I am and so on. But we will sort that. Dom, your support is massively appreciated. Right, shall we talk about some shout outs? So first of all, we're not going to do a channel shout out. First, we're going to do a manufacturer shout out. We've talked a lot about Vanguard models today, one way or another, but I'd like to just mention them in this slot as well. If you've not looked at the Vanguard models website and have a look at what's available and what they do, I really strongly suggest you do. If you've got any interest at all in building a wooden model ship kit, or have never done one and want to, as you already know, I'm going to be building the kit that I've shared with you as a complete beginner's one. So there's an opportunity to go and get one and be ready when that happens. So do have a look at them. His kits are very high quality and the price point is very good. For example, the Sherborne that we've been talking about today, if that had come out by a Matty or Victory Models, which is basically the same thing, it would easily be £200 from the cost of the material. That's how low that price point is. So yeah, have a look at what he does. Go and have a look at his webpage and you know, have a nosy around, see what you think. Very great quality stuff. I will leave the link below, as I will do for all the other channels I'm about to give a shout out to. So the first one is Peter Oxley. If you're not aware of Peter Oxley, he does all sorts of stuff. Right now he's building the big 132 Tamiya Mosquito, which I've got as a shelf queen, and he's battling through that, hoping to get it done by Christmas. He very recently, about a week or so ago, did a Michael Wittmann Tiger One model night, which was about an hour and a quarter's worth of video. Very interesting. I know a lot about Michael Wittmann, but I guess depends on how invested you are in German World War II history, how much you know. So it was an interesting video, and he does lots of other stuff. He did maybe about a month ago, he was talking about Steve McQueen's legacy and his Le Mans movie and what have you. So he does jump around a little bit and does some stuff of interest, and of course he likes his Matchbox stuff, and he does quite a bit of that, including a first impressions video of or a inbox review, whatever he calls it, of one of my Matchbox kits, the big Corvette. So do check him out. He's also getting close to his 10,000 subscribers. So if you've not seen his channel, go along and say hello and hit a subscribe and mention you came from me. Steve Jones Scale Modelling. He's been working on a Panzer I with a difference. He's been doing it as Spanish Civil War. Really interesting to build as videos to watch. As always, lots of detail in there. Great little channel if you've never come across it. Go along, say hello, tell him you came from me, and check out what he's doing because he does some lovely stuff. Another channel I'd like to mention, this time wood ship modelling, is Wooden Model Ship Builds. A chap called Greg, he's just done a review of the Caldercraft 1:72 scale HMS Victory. Many consider it the mother of all ship models. It certainly was on my to-get list as a retirement project, but I might have swapped it for what I've just purchased. And he started building it. So if you're interested to see it, it's just an awesome kit. Go along, check his channel out again, say hello, say you've come from my channel so he knows. He is a subscriber of mine as well, I think. Check out what he does. Really nice stuff. And finally, Greybeard's Models is back after a summer of cricket and beer. He's back in the modelling room. He just put an update video out. He's got some nice stash hats. One of them I've got on the way, or two of them that become one. You'll find out. I'll talk about it in a future video. But if you don't know Greybeard's Models, do go and check him out. He does some really interesting stuff. He builds some nice classic kits. He does some dioramas and bits and pieces. He did a lovely Coach and Horses last year. So yeah, do check him out. A great experienced modeller, nice relaxed channel. I will leave links to all of my shout outs below. Well, I think that is it for this week. The sun has just come out as we're recording, which is nice to see. We've covered some ground today, haven't we? So there's lots going on, as always, and a big thank you for supporting the channel and coming and watching this video and finding out what's going on. I do appreciate it. I look forward to seeing your comments in the week on our videos as they go out, and talking to you in the live chat on Friday when we do our premiere of the Scharnhorst. And of course, if you catch the premiere on a Friday night, 9 PM UK time, you don't get any adverts. So that's a bonus as well. So there you go. Thank you very much for joining me. I will see you next week on the next Table Talk when we do all of this again. Till then, you enjoy your modelling. Bye for now. Thanks for watching. Please hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't done so. It's free, and that way you won't miss my first impressions, my tool reviews, my product reviews, and any of my builds, including wooden model kits as well as plastic. It's all free, and if you'd like to support the channel, you can hit my PayPal link in the text below. Every pound goes straight into the channel to keep the cameras rolling and to do more fun stuff for you to watch.